Hello and welcome to another episode of the Illinois Workers Project. I'm your host, Dave Luna, and today's November 2nd, 2020. We're one day away from the next presidential election. It's going to be a huge race. The whole world is watching. 92 million people as of Saturday had already casted their early votes, which is 67% of the total voter turnout from the 2016 presidential election. So I think it's going to be a close one. Regardless of what the polls are saying, I wouldn't trust them too much because we all remember what happened in 2016. People got too confident and didn't even go out and vote. We thought Hillary had it in the bag, but at the end, she didn't. She didn't. We lost. And 4 years later, here we are. We gotta make sure. We gotta make sure you go out and vote. Take your grandma, take your sister, your aunts, your uncles, everybody, your neighbors. you know, because it's gonna be a huge race, and I think there's a lot on the line. So go out and vote, y'all. Go out and vote. Your voice matters. We all remember in 2016, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, those states were decided by less than 70,000 votes. In Michigan, it was less than 10,000. So that is huge, and that's all right here in the Rust Belt, right? And it was a documentary that I watched, and that always brings me back to the 70,000 number of those three states, and how Wisconsin purged. They took people their ballots and just didn't count them because they thought that they didn't register correctly. But some people ended up not even, or because they thought they moved, but they never moved. So I didn't understand it, but I just thought that it was a little bit fishy. Then Harris County, the third largest county in the nation, we have Texas Republicans suing to get 127,000 ballots thrown out. Like, come on, because they set up drive-through voting booths. That's awesome. It's COVID-19. I don't want to be next to somebody coughing on me using the same pens. Bad air circulation. Like, I don't even like to leave my house to go grocery shopping. But I dealt with it. I went out and I voted, but I think a drive-through voting booth is genius. And the Secretary of State in Texas approved it, and all of a sudden, after all these votes were cast in a predominantly Democratic county, Harris County from Houston, Texas, now they want to get the ballots thrown out, right? So it's a lot of funny stuff going on. I wouldn't pay too much mind to it. Just, don't legitimize it. Just go out and do your part. Do your part. Don't, if there's people there trying to intimidate you, just ignore them. I wouldn't even pay attention to them at this point, because we're giving them more power by acknowledging their hatred. We're legitimizing the negativity, the racism, the hatred by giving it so much attention. So I think we need to love one another. We need to help each other. We all have a whole lot more in common than not, and that's what I'm focused on. The majority of us are workers. Even though Trump has ran on, he took a page out of Reagan's book and said, "I'm going to make America great again. I'm going to bring American manufacturing jobs back." But that hasn't happened. He's going to stop. I know in Michigan, since he's been in office, they've lost 50,000 manufacturing jobs. And then in Indiana, the thing with Carrier, and then he negotiated to keep half those jobs, and half those jobs ended up leaving to Mexico anyways. Like, come on. And then he wanted to brag about Foxconn in Janesville, Wisconsin, and that was a huge mess. And he was up there recently bragging about that, like how he negotiated them coming and creating all these jobs. They were supposed to create 13,000 jobs. They got $400 million from the taxpayers in Wisconsin. So far, they've only made 300. And it was supposed to be a factory of LCD screens. Huge bust. So I know a lot of the union vote, for some reason, is going to Trump. I've already spoken on that. It's definitely not a pro-worker candidate, in my opinion. But do your own research at this point, or your mind's probably already made up anyway. So, hey, you guys go out and vote. Make sure that we stay positive throughout all this. We accept the results, regardless of what happens. There's a lot of things that are going to be coming soon, like the CARES Act. The eviction moratorium is gonna end on December 31st. So What's going to happen then? We don't have another stimulus bill. We need help for a lot of people that are on unemployment. Unemployment number supposedly is at 7.6, a little bit under 8% right now. But then Axios published a study saying that the real number is above 26%. And that's using the criteria that a person that is employed is a full-time worker over 18 making at least 20,000 a year. So, and I agree with that. If you're, that to me is considered you working, not a part-time job at McDonald's where you're working, 20 hours a week. That's not employment, y'all. You can't live off that. We need real jobs. For those of you that don't know, through the CARES Act, if you're struggling right now, you can tap into your 401k and not be penalized. And you can take out up to $100,000. That's something I take into consideration. Normally you get like 10% penalty if you take any money out before you're 59 and a half. So if you're anticipating hard times, that's something that I take into consideration, whether you're going to make an investment. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy on social media, on YouTube. So make that determination yourself. I'm just saying you have that option. It's there. It was provided by the CARES Act. A lot of people don't know about it. We need another stimulus bill. We need help for these small business owners. If you have a little bit of extra money, make sure that you go out and, buy a pizza from your local pizza joint. Here is, Danny's on Douglas. What other local pizza joint do we have around here in Elgin? It's not Domino's or Pizza Hut. Those are franchises, right? Let's help each other out right now. So go out and vote, y'all. My name is David Luna. This is the Illinois Workers Project. I hope you guys have a great evening. Remember to give me a thumbs up, comment down below. Let me know what you think. I'll put my contact info on the bottom. So if there's any companies want to give me a paid sponsorship to mention their product on my videos, I know I don't have a lot of views, but eventually I'm going to get there, y'all. I'm going to get there.